Hello, everybody, it's your boy, Jmulls of Jmulls Gaming here today. We got the autumn sale for Steam, and I thought, how about I go over the list of games we got here today, and I recommend what games to buy, what games I would recommend to buy from this sale. And right off rip, we got two amazing games over here, and then F1. We have Red Dead Redemption 2 at 67% off. For $20, I have heard immaculate things about this game. It's one of my friend's favorite games of all time. Now, it's not going to be for everyone. It's a very slow-paced game where it takes a lot of time with animations and collecting various resources in the open world. It is a Rockstar game, so if you're familiar with GTA or the previous Red Dead Redemption, you kind of know the overall game feel you're going in here. Red Dead Redemption 2. I hear the story is amazing. I've seen some scenes of it. It's very emotional. Very slow-paced and methodical in terms of its storytelling. Absolutely beautiful and gorgeous game, as you can see from this little screen cap here. So, if you're a fan of those more slow-paced, open-world games that are very narrative-heavy, that have a lot of side content to do, I would recommend Red Dead Redemption 2. SpiderMan Remastered. This game is freaking incredible. So, SpiderMan, it was originally for the PS4, but eventually made its way over to PC. And it's an open-world, third-person action game starring Spider-Man, duh. But what this game gets right is a couple of core identities relevant to Spider-Man that makes it so fun and replayable and engaging. One, the combat. It's very fluid, very fun, combo-oriented, very standard. So if you're familiar with the Batman Arkham style of combat, very counter-oriented and simple button combo inputs with, like, square and triangle if you're playing on PlayStation, or X and Y if you're on Xbox or Switch. Light attacks, strong attacks, weaving those together to do various combos, getting various gadgets, web abilities, and using a lot of counters to your playstyle. That's going to be very similar to, in that vein, to a lot of those more Arkham Knight games. But the story is also very well done, in my opinion. It's a Spider-Man story, duh. It just does the Spider-Man story. It doesn't do an origin story. This is not an origin story. But what it does is it tells you a Spider-Man story just in a very engaging way with a lot of character. Actually, some really good emotional scenes in this game as well. Some very high highs, some very depressing scenes as well. It does a very good job at it. And the open world is very fun to explore because that other pillar of Spider-Man games that I mentioned before that it needed to nail and that it does is the web slinging. The web slinging in this game, the overall movement throughout the open world of New York City, I believe it's just Manhattan, but throughout the open world here, that web slinging is very satisfying. And once you learn how to do it properly and effectively, you can get a lot of speed and maintain a lot of airtime pretty much no matter where you are. It's a very engaging way to do mobility for an open world game because you feel like you're playing Spider-Man in every facet of it. Really fun and thrilling story, great open world, great gameplay, really fun side content. That's a definite recommend. I don't play sports games, so I can't tell you about F1. Let's move down here. What else would I recommend? I've heard some great things for Subnautica. Subnautica is an open-world survival, almost horror game that takes place on this alien world that's an ocean world. So what you're going to be doing is delving under the surface of the ocean, going to all these different biomes in this alien underwater world, as it puts it here, collecting resources to build up your base. And it's very open-ended. It's a survival game, but the game also does play on those horror vibes of the deep blue sea. So if you're someone who tends to avoid horror, or even atmospheric horror a lot of the times, you might want to pass on this. But if you can handle that, and you don't mind that kind of stuff, Subnautica, and you like those survival games that just kind of throws you into an open world and lets your hand go and just says, make your own objective, have fun. We'll have some kind of story that they can pull you through. It's very disconnected. It's not the major focal point of the game at all. We'll have some main objectives for you to fulfill and to go after. But really, what you want, you can get out of this game what you want to put into it. That's essentially what it is. It's very open-ended and just lets you play the game the way you want to play it. Now, let's talk about Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is a very interesting game. Let me open up in a new tab. Actually, I realize I can do this. Sure. What this game is it's a Soulsborne game. Duh. So it's created by From Software, as you can see here. But it has a significant formula shift from the Dark Souls and Bloodborne and Elden Ring games that are in the similar vein. It's far more parry-oriented, you can see here. So the goal isn't necessarily to block or to dodge stuff. The main goal is to nail the timings on these parries to get various benefits, because you have multiple kinds of parries, right? For slashing, stabbing attacks, and regular parries. And you can weave those in amongst regular attacks and a bunch of other gadgets that you can gain throughout this game. It's far more narrative heavy than other FromSoft games. It's not nearly as go and read a bunch of item descriptions to get a story. The game tells you the story up front. And I believe I agree that it's a very engaging story. It has multiple endings as well. And overall, I think Sekiro is, for most Souls fan games, it's Soulsborne fan games, or, fans, it's going to be very polarizing because of the stark departure from that really established formula of Soulsborne. It's far more restricting in terms of playstyle. You kind of do feel stuck with parrying, but if you like parrying, this game's going to be very up your alley. Really great aesthetic, fun boss fights, overall really solid game. So let's go back to the Steam page here. No Man's Sky, this game got freaking panned on release, rightfully so in my opinion, but they did put the work in, and apparently the game is way better than it used to be. They added a lot of content, a lot of features that the community asked for. So I can't tell you much about this game. Go look up other people who can. Make a decision for yourself on that one. Let's scroll down a bit. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is you see this button here that says Doom franchise. You're going to want to buy everything that's under this tab. That, just as a general rule of thumb, this one will do for you. $29 for all the Doom games. Just thank me later. But if you want to get down to it, really I would recommend these two specifically. Doom 2016, as I will call it, and then Doom Eternal. I prefer Doom 2016. Why? Because in Doom Eternal, it has one mini boss that they use very often, pretty much once per level after the halfway point, that grinds the pace of the game to a halt and makes you play in a play style that I feel is very counterintuitive to the formula of Doom. Doom is meant to be very fast-paced, brutal, and you go through a lot of enemies very quickly, but the Marauder in Doom Eternal slows the pace down and is just overall very unfun to fight in my opinion. But the rest of Doom Eternal is a very good iteration on the formula established with Doom 2016. Both games are very fun, very fast-paced, high adrenaline, high-octane fun. It's an FPS game, so if you're not a fan of FPS games, this might not be up your alley, but if you're even remotely interested in FPS, it is one of the better modern-day FPS campaigns I have seen. It's fun, a lot of dynamic, and a lot of really different environments, and fun boss fights. And honestly, for $5 for the original Doom, that's hard to beat. That is very hard to beat. And Doom Eternal is $10. This is a very, very, very good deal. So I would wholeheartedly recommend that. Elder Scrolls. Do I need to recommend people to buy Skyrim at this point? Like, either you love Skyrim or you don't. I have heard good things about ESO in recent years. Okay, let's go to Halo. I am a big Halo fan. I want to spread the good word of this game right here, Halo Master Chief Collection. If you have never played Halo before, and if you love FPS games, and you love stories, you need, for yourself, right? Treat yourself. Get Halo Master Chief Collection. You can buy the individual campaigns here if you want. They're like $4 a pop. All the games here you see, let me scroll up a bit so you don't get confused with like the Spartan Assault and Spartan Strike. All the games you see on screen right here, besides this one at the top, all the games down here, Halo Combat Evolved, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 3 ODST, Halo Reach, Halo 4. These are all incredible games. Some people will push back on Halo 4. That's understandable. It's a different studio, the modern studio, 343 Industries. It's a direction pivot for the series. Not a lot of people like it. I like the story. These other games, though, are absolutely incredible. Halo 3 is in my top 10 games of all time. Halo 2 or Halo Combat Evolved are not far behind. Honestly, I could put them right there as well. These games are all incredible. Halo, as a series, is one of my favorite franchises of all time. Especially in terms of the Bungie era. Halo Combat Evolved, Halo 2, Halo 3 ODST, and Halo Reach are expert. They're all S-tier experiences. Halo 3 ODST was originally made as an offshoot of Halo 3, as an additional story after Halo 3 came out. It's a shorter campaign, but it is very fun and engaging and enjoyable, with a new crew, and it takes place alongside the timeline with Halo 2. It's a very fun game. They all are. Halo Combat Evolved is an introductory experience to the series, far more gameplay oriented than story, and I feel like the other games do a better job balancing it out, but the gameplay in Combat Evolved still holds up to this day. It's an amazing experience. Do yourself a favor and play in the old graphics, by the way. I have videos about that. I just feel that it does the atmosphere. The anniversaries don't do the atmosphere justice. Halo 2 is an incredible game with one of my favorite FPS stories ever told. One of my favorite stories ever told, honestly. Amazing characters, some of the best, if not the best, dialogue in any game I've ever played. Halo 3 is one of the best games I've ever played. From the bottom of my heart, is the perfect conclusion to this trilogy. Go play Halo. Go play Halo. Just trust me on that one, it's incredible. Okay, Fallen Order. We need to talk about this. Jedi Fallen Order. A lot of people pan this game as a Souls copy. That's not a bad thing in my opinion, because I think it does that formula very well. It's a narrative-focused, Jedi-based game, where you're playing as Cal Kestis. You have Soulsborne combat, which is slow, methodical. You want to parry, you can have various force powers, you can dodge, and boss fights can be difficult if you go up to that difficulty level. There's varying difficulty modes, so you just be on the lookout for that. So find something that's up your alley. The story, in my opinion, is very fun and very enjoyable. It's a very good Star Wars story, with some great characters, some absolutely fun and enjoyable zones to explore, and overall, a great experience in my opinion. I love that game. What else do we got? Nothing here. If I skip through something, it's not necessarily that it's a bad game, it's just not my specialty. Final Fantasy franchise, let's go into this. What would I recommend here? If you have played the original Final Fantasy VII and you have not played Final Fantasy VII Remake for whatever reason, I highly suggest that you do. It is on a discount for only $50. It's still pricey compared to the other games we've talked about, but it is also a very enjoyable game. The main concern people had, and that I had, with Final Fantasy VII Remake before it came out, was that it was going to ruin the pacing of the original game. In contrast, I actually think the original game's pacing has been ruined by this one. This game, what this does is it takes the Midgard introductory section from base Final Fantasy VII and it fleshes it out, builds on it, and it does such an incredible job. I don't even want to really talk about it because of a spoiler about what this game actually is. It is incredible. The gameplay is very fun and enjoyable and engaging. It has varying materia that you can utilize, giving various characters different spells. You can make these party members feel their own. They all have different gameplay and their own special abilities that you can make use of and take advantage of for these given situations and for these different combat scenarios. The story is phenomenal. The voice acting is S tier. The pacing is honestly incredible, and the graphics and the audio design and the music is also S tier. It is a phenomenal remake, and when I point to a game and say this is how you remake a game, I point to Final Fantasy VII Remake. Because it is truly an amazing experience. I will fight for this game. I do not agree that it ruins the original story or that it somehow ruins the pacing. The pacing of the original Midgard section feels bad in comparison to this game. I fully and 100% believe that this game does that introductory Midgard section infinitely better than the original game. Now, I'm not entirely sure why Final Fantasy 15 is here if it's not discounted, because it doesn't say that the discount. I love Final Fantasy 15, but the combat's a little bit janky. It's one of their first iterations for that real-time action RPG gameplay. And it's very hit or miss, depending upon what you like about it. If you haven't played Final Fantasy 14, I fully recommend it. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Endwalker concludes the main narrative story arc. It's one of the best stories that's ever been told, in my opinion. It's truly amazing. Skipping all of these. Let's see, what else? Anything discounted? Okay, well, if you want my recommendation just for what you might want to buy, 7's great. I haven't beaten 8, but I enjoy it, but it's very polarizing. I haven't beaten 9 yet, but I've been enjoying it. 10 is an amazing game. Probably does the turn-based combat in Final Fantasy better than all the other games, in my opinion. And it's very emotional, great characters, great story, and amazing music. So let's move on from Final Fantasy for now. What else? Oh, The Witcher. So, yeah, buy The Witcher 3, and also, can we stop trying to ignore 2? We keep ignoring The Witcher 2, and I want that to stop. The Witcher 2 is $3. This is one of the best RPGs ever made, and it's $3. The Witcher 3 is like The Witcher 2 after it went to the gym, and it's available for $10. If you haven't played these games and you love RPGs, play them. Seriously, just play them. The Witcher 2 is an incredible game. It's far shorter and more compact than The Witcher 3. It has multiple playthroughs in it. It's a phenomenal game. And I think it fully holds up. The combat's still fun and engaging. And I believe The Witcher 3 is an amazing game as well. Go play them. They're amazing. What else do we got? What else? Let's scroll down a little bit. What do we got here? What do we got here? What do we got here? Outer Wilds. I have not played the Outer Wilds, but from what I have seen of it, this game truly is special. You are essentially... You're on the clock. If you're familiar with Majora's Mask, where you have a certain amount of time, and then at the end of that time period, the game is essentially reset to the start, but you can use the knowledge you gained in that previous time session to help you along your new journey in the new time period you're allotted. The game is essentially that loop, and it does an amazing job at unraveling the world because of that. Where you're constantly learning, doing things over, trying again, learning new things about the world of Outer Wilds. Play it. It's on my bucket list. It's on my wish list. Not my Steam wish list, but you catch my point. One day I want to play this game because from what I've seen of it, it looks truly special. Anything else? Cyberpunk. Okay, this is a bit of an interesting one. Cyberpunk on release, I don't think was that good of a game, but they have constantly updated it, so I hear that's a bit better now. Let's move on to Persona 5 Royal. Persona 5 Royal is one of my favorite games of all time. It does the JRPG formula almost better than any other JRPG out there, in my opinion. It weaves those social simulator aspects, as well as the dungeon crawling JRPG goodness that it has. Two varying different genres, but they're blended seamlessly into one, and they benefit off of each other. It's hard to talk about this game without showing it to you. It is an amazing game with some of my favorite cast of characters of any game that I've ever played. Go play Persona 5 Royal. It's amazing. Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition. I have not beaten this game, but from what I have played, this game is also amazing. It does that real-time action combat, but it's very bow-oriented. And because you get different weapons, different arrow types, different traps, you explore this open world that's been overtaken by nature, but you find remnants of an ancient, highly intellectual and advanced civilization that once flourished, and the entire game is essentially you uncovering what happened to it. The way it blends these nature elements and these high sci-fi, not high sci-fi, but these technologically advanced aspects is a beautiful aesthetic with some amazing enemy design. Some very good characters from what I've played so far, and the game is freaking gorgeous. Titanfall 2, again, one of the best FPS campaigns ever made. It's for less than $5. Go play it. Do yourself a favor. It's great. Terraria's great as well. Kind of like a 2D Minecraft, but with more of an emphasis on bosses and combat. Very enjoyable, especially if you can get some friends to play alongside you. It's an amazing game. It's one of those survival games, one of those adventure construction games. It's Minecraft, but 2D with more bosses and better combat, in my opinion. Go play it. What else? What else? What else? I've heard great things about Hades and Dead Cells. If you're into roguelikes, go play those. What do we got here? What do we got here? Crysis 2, I have played a long time ago. This game freaking was amazing. But I don't remember it all that well, so. But from what I remember, the gunplay is very enjoyable. And it's just overall a fun FPS experience. It is single player. Bear that in mind. It's also $23. So bear that in mind. And that will do it for me for the day. I'm going to call the video there. Thank you all for tuning in. My pleasure for making the video. Go play some games. Go have some good times. If you buy one of the games I just mentioned in this video, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you bought and let me know what you think of it. Or if you've already played one of these games, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If I glossed over one of the games you recommend, please leave a comment down below with your recommendations as well for what people should go out and look for. Thank you all for tuning in. My pleasure making the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe. If you like the channel out, help support future content. And I greatly appreciate it. Stay safe, everybody. Have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody.